All right, Ron, thank you. Now to this developing story. Democrats across Tennessee are fighting against this new congressional district, the redrawing of the map in federal court, part of which splits Shelby County into 3 districts. Congressman Steve Cohen and the congressional candidates for the original districts 5, 6, and 9 are suing Governor Bill Lee and the state coordinator of elections over the redrawn maps. Action News 5's Garner Montgomery shares more about the plan to fight back.
Friday, Congressman Steve Cohen was at Claiborne Temple in downtown Memphis, highlighting the more than $3 million in federal funding he acquired to restore the historic church. Funding, he says, won't come to Memphis under the newly drawn districts.
I think it's the worst thing that's happened to Memphis since the airline was dehubbed. We will lose monies in community projects like this.
He and several congressional candidates have sued Governor Bill Lee over the redrawn districts, citing the changes were made in the middle of the primary campaign for those seats.
Donald Trump wanted it done, and most of those people, if Donald Trump says jump, they'll say how high. We've got a court case, as I said, that's going to try to hold it for 2 years, and that they acted too quickly. We hope we'll win.
State Senator Brent Taylor, who declared to run for the newly formed District 9, says Tennessee Republicans acted quickly to ensure their party would hold every seat in Tennessee following the Supreme Court's ruling that congressional maps like District 9 were no longer protected under the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
According to the Supreme Court, they have said those districts are unconstitutional. And what we didn't want Tennesseans to go in and be voting in districts that are unconstitutional. It's not fair to the voters.
He also pushed back on the notion the splitting of Cohen's district will harm Memphis.
Congressman Cohen does not have the keys to the United States vault. He's not the only one that has access to federal funding. Memphis will benefit from this because now Memphis will have 3 congressmen rather than 1.
Cohen's lawsuit cites Shelby County Administrator of Elections Linda Phillips, who in 2022 said under oath that redrawing legislative districts in May would prevent ballots from being mailed to service members overseas in compliance with federal law. Reporting in Memphis, Garner Montgomery, Action News 5.